everyone, and welcome to GIR Golf. I am Jim, and welcome to today's golf rules video. Golf rules tip: too many clubs in your bag. Now, golf rule 4.1b tells us that we are only allowed to have up to 14 total golf clubs in our golf bag. If we have more than that, then penalty strokes will be applied and possible disqualification. We'll get to that in this video. But your maximum number of golf clubs, according to USGA and R&A, when you go out and play around, is 14 or less. Some of you, this may not be an issue. You may only have 11 or 12, and that's fine. You could go out and play around a golf with just one golf club if you choose to, but you cannot exceed 14. Also, I could have 14 7-irons in my bag. I wouldn't do that, but that would still be abiding by the rules as long as I did not exceed 14 total golf clubs in my bag. For example, I could have 2 putters in my bag as long as I don't exceed 14. I remember several years ago, Phil Mickelson played a round of golf with 2 drivers in a PGA Tour event. And as long as he didn't exceed 14 clubs, that was legal to do so. He took one out and put an extra driver in there for that round. So remember, 14, according to Golf Rules 4.1b, 14 is the total maximum number of clubs allowed to play during a round. Now, me being a golf coach and being a spectator of golf tournaments over the years, I've seen this happen, where a player has too many golf clubs in their bag. And it's important to know what the golf rules say about this. And that's what the purpose of this video is. We're going to go over a couple situations and tell you what to do if this happens to you. Let's go have some fun. All right, before we get started here, I thought we would come up and show you what I have in my personal golf bag. I've got my putter, my 60-degree wedge, my 56-degree wedge, my approach wedge, my pitching wedge, 9, 8-iron, 7-iron, 6-iron, 5-iron, 4-iron, a 3 hybrid, a 3 wood, and then my driver. If you add all those together, that's exactly 14. You may have less, but the important thing is to note that you have 14 or less. I have a couple alignment sticks in here. By the way, these don't count as a golf club. All right, I have an umbrella here that is used for if it's raining out to drape over my golf clubs. Again, that does not count my total. You have to count your golf clubs. Just thought I would show you what I have. Now let's get to talking about what happens if you have too many in situation number 1. Okay, so situation number 1 is before you start your round of golf. So this is any time before you make that first tee shot on hole number 1 and you realize that you have too many golf clubs in your bag. Now, the rules of golf say that if you rectify this before you start, there's no penalty applied. Now, so we're here on the first tee, hole number 1. I get up here, for example, I go to grab my driver and I look and I notice I have 2 putters in here. And a little bell goes off in my mind saying, wait a minute, why do I have 2 putters in my bag? And then I remember, I was trying out that putter over the last couple of days. I put it in my bag and I was going back and forth and I forgot to take the club that I wasn't going to use today out of my bag. This does happen. It's important that you do this before you start. So now I realize, wait a minute, I have 15 golf clubs in my bag, or I have 16, 17. Whatever it is, in situation number 1, before we start our round, we have to declare these out of play. So you have 2 options to do this. Number 1, I don't recommend you do this, but you can just verbally tell your fellow playing competitor, a fellow player, a score marker, a rules official, somebody in your group that, hey, I am not going to use this Daytona Ghost putter today. And you just put it back in your bag. I'm going to use this one here because I have 15, just letting you know. That is legal by the rules of golf. Again, I don't recommend you doing this because the penalty is, if I say, hey, the one I'm going to play is my answer ping putter, I'm not going to use this TaylorMade putter, I go and accidentally or intentionally grab this TaylorMade putter that I verbally have chosen not to be used anywhere out there in my round of golf, that's how you get disqualified. you cannot, once you realize this happens, you cannot use that club or clubs that you're taking out of your bag to get down to your 14 total maximum. If I do so, then I'm disqualified. But now let's talk about another option, which is a better option. So again, in situation one, I get up here to the first tee. I have not hit my tee shot yet. If I hit a tee shot, we'll get to that in a minute, or if I'm playing around a golf, playing on one of the holes. But here in situation one, I'm at the tee. I realize as I grab my driver, I see 2 putters here, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And I double check. Yeah, I have 15. I know I got to have 14 or less. So now I tell my fellow playing competitor, hey, just so you know, I realize before I tee off here, I have an extra putter in here. I'm going to take this putter out of play. So I'm going to take action to do so. One way you could do it is put the club in upside down. You could do that. I could put it in there upside down, and that'll help me remember, hey, I'm not going to use that today. You know, so that's one way I can take action. A better way that I agree, just so you don't accidentally use that club and you avoid any confusion out there, is you go and take this club that you choose, or clubs that you're not going to use, and you go give it to a spectator, family member, somebody not playing in the golf tournament, and let them take it away, and that's the way there's no confusion. That is the better way to do this. So as we go on to other examples, I want you to remember this procedure. Number one, I can just verbally tell somebody, hey, I'm not going to use it, keep it in my bag. I don't recommend that because you might accidentally use it and you can be disqualified. Or number two, you at least turn it upside down in your bag, or even better yet, go give it to somebody and let them just take it away and not allow you to use it in situation number one. Now let's go on to situation number two. Situation number two is if you realize that you have more than 14 clubs that you're playing with after your round has begun. And this all depends on when you notice this and what you do to rectify it. So, example number one in situation number two is, if you notice, my tee markers are gone because I'm replicating, this is hole number one. My tee shot's landed here on this par 4, hypothetically, and I'm getting ready to hit my second shot. So I'm on hole number one, hitting my second shot. I realize now at this point that I have 15 clubs in my bag, or 17, whatever it is. I have more than 14. So what you got to do is you got to rectify this to avoid being disqualified. So what I'm going to do is tell my fellow player, fellow competitor, a rules official, so on and so forth, somebody in my group, that hey, I have more than 14, I realize my error, and I'm going to take this one club out. In my case, I have 2 putters. I don't need 2 putters. I'm going to take it out. I could choose to take out my driver if I, at this time, it don't matter. As long as I can have 2 putters in my bag, for example, as long as I don't have more than 14. Because I have 15, I'm going to take 1 out, and then I'm going to either put it in upside down, or better yet, go and give it to somebody else that's spectating or watching the golf tournament. Give it to your coach, give it to a family member, whatever, and just tell them to hang on to it until the round is over. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and get it out of play, give it to somebody. All right. Now I'm legal. I have 14 clubs. So now what I'll do is I finish this hole, for example. I'm on hole number 1 in this example, and I've rectified my error. Let's say I get a 4 on this hole. All right, with this being hole number 1, the rules say that this is how we are to apply penalty strokes. If you realize during your round of golf that you have more than 14 clubs, the penalty strokes, you get 2 on the hole that you're playing, and then also you get 2 additional strokes for any holes that you've already played, to a maximum of 4. All right. So in this example, hole number 1, shot number 2, I realize it, the holes began, so I'm going to get 2 penalty strokes added to my score. So if I got a 4, my actual score is going to be a 6 on this hole, and then now I move forward, and that's it. Now, sometimes this may happen, and you're deep in the round. Let's say you're on hole 14, and you get up here, and you're hitting your second shot into hole number 14, you realize this happens. So I'm on hole 14, I finish my hole. Let's say I get a 5 on this hole. I have to add 2 strokes on hole 14. So I add 2 strokes, I got a 7. But I also have to go back, because I've played more than 1 hole, with too many clubs. I go back to hole 13. Whatever I got on that score, let's say I got a 3 on that par 3, I got a 5 on that because it's a 2-stroke penalty for the holes behind me as well, up to 4 maximum penalty strokes. Now, I played with too many clubs for 14 holes, or 13 and a half if you want to get technical. But I only go back to the 2 previous holes that I've played, the 14 and 13, to a maximum of 4 strokes. I don't just keep going back all the way to I began. That's the way the golf rules say. So it's a 4-stroke maximum penalty. And in this example, I get 2 strokes added on hole 14, and then I go back on 13, change it, add 2 strokes there to abide by the rules, finish out my round of golf with 14 clubs, and that is the procedure. All right, I got my tee markers back here because I want to talk to you a little bit about when these penalty strokes are applied. If during the round of golf you realize this on one of the other holes' tee boxes. For example, let's say in situation number 2, I began my round unaware to me that I have more than 14 golf clubs in my bag. I get up to, let's say, hole 10. I'm at hole 10 tee box, all right? I've already completed hole 9. I get up here to hole 10's tee box, and I go and reach for my iron for this par 3, and I realize, wait a minute, I think I have more than 14 clubs, and I start to count, and I'm like, oh no, I began this round and I've played this many holes up to hole 10 with 15 clubs, or 16, 17. So now I do the proper procedure. Again, it all depends on when you realize that you have too many clubs and then what you do about it. So here, I'm on the 10th tee box. I realize, hey, I've got 2 putters. I don't want to play with this one. I take it out of play. I tell my fellow playing competitor, partner, rules official, marker, somebody in the group, and then I take it out of play and I give it to somebody, okay? Or I stick it in or upside down as we discussed, and put it on my golf cart, you know, down the floor. Whatever you got to do, get it out of play. All right, now here's what the math says. Because I've done this and I've gotten that out of play, from here on I'm good to go. No penalty strokes applied. But what I got to do, again, it is for 2 penalty strokes on every hole that you've played with too many clubs once you become aware. So I'm here on 10, so that means on hole number 9, let's say I got a 4, I got a 6, because 2 penalty strokes will be applied on hole number 9. And then I got to go back to hole number 8, because I haven't began hole number 10 yet. I got to add 2 strokes to hole number 8. Let's say I got a 5 on that par 5, I got a 7. So I must fix that on my scorecard. And then that's where I stop. Again, the maximum penalty is 4 penalty strokes. So once you become aware and you fix it, then you start applying those penalty strokes backwards. And if you began a hole, you go back on the previous hole. I don't add 2 penalty strokes on hole 10 because I have not began the hole. Thanks everyone for watching this golf rules tip. Hopefully this has educated you on what the maximum number of clubs you're allowed to use during a round of golf, which is 14, and also if something happens and you exceed that maximum number, what to do. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to push that subscribe button, that like button. Also share this video with all your golfing friends. Remember to smile often, have fun. God loves you. We'll see you next time.